Hi, everybody. This is Sofia Mona Lisa of the Golden Ray Center and the Rose Rule Mystery School. And welcome back to the final episode of season 2 for Spotlight on Influencers. In this episode, my guest is Denise Bliss Phillips. I know her as Bliss, so you may hear me sometimes calling her Denise, sometimes calling her Bliss, but it's all good. So just want to let you know that Denise is the tour manager for Lewis Herms' Truth Tour. And she was on both tours with him as the tour manager. And I'll just give Denise an opportunity to say hello and share what she'd like you to know about herself. So welcome, Denise.
Hello, guys, and thank you. Thank you. What a great welcome and such an honor to be here and be a part of this today. I just have to say thanks so much. And I think one of the best things and most tremendous things I've ever done is be a part of the Truth Tour and everything that it's brought to our world and our country and the awakenings of the masses. And it is so close to my heart, and it's hard to be away from it. I've been gone. It's been about 2 weeks now, and not to be with the like-minded people and the camaraderie is just so different. But it was such an honor to be of service for the tour and to be a huge part of that. And I can't thank Lewis Herms and Araceli enough the opportunity to allow me to be a part of it and to continue to be a part of it. It's very exciting, and some great people met, some great stories, some terrible stories when it comes to child trafficking and sex trafficking, but that's exactly what we were out there for, to make a difference in this world. And I love being of service. That's what I've been called to do, and I'm so interested to hear more about what I'm being called to do and what's in my path for the next year. So thank you for honoring me and spotlighting me.
Well, certainly a pleasure to have you here. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, Denise and I have known each other for, I can't even remember how many years now we've known each other. So it's great to do this work with you in this more personal way. And of course, she invited me to join the Truth Tour, and I showed up at the Clearwater event, and it was really magnificent. And I was riding high from the energy of that event for 3 days afterwards. So it was really, I would say it would be like stepping onto holy ground, because the people are so open-hearted, and that divine love frequency is so present that it just fills you up, and it just carries you forward in a way that it reminds me of, in the Deep South, they used to have those revival weeks or those revival weekends. That's that energy of, the Holy Spirit, of the Christ consciousness, the Holy Soul of the Sofia consciousness that just fills you up and carries you forward. So it was a very exciting experience, very, what is the word I'm looking for? Fulfilling experience. So I'm happy to take this to the next level. And I will actually include a link in the description box below of the Clearwater event with a time marker for when I did my presentation, because today's episode is going to be kind of an extension of what I spoke about at the Clearwater event. And at the Clearwater event, I talked about how Lewis Herms and Denise and Gina came together as a part of the divine plan to work together in the Truth Tour. And so this is actually a bridge to what the next season, next year, is going to be about. This whole season has been about soul missions and how people are intending to do their soul mission. And so we're going to look at that for Denise. But we're also going to pick up on that thread that I discussed in terms of how the divine plan was unfolding through her as a part of that Truth Tour team. And she's just getting ready to step onto a whole new evolutionary path within the next few days. And so we're going to look ahead, which is something I haven't done in previous episodes, to see now where is she going to be walking that path over the next year, and how the divine plan will be working through her over the next year. So just like in the past episodes, we're going to go into her soul tribe. She and I are part of that same Virgo soul tribe, people who are here dedicated to their sacred work in service to the sacred feminine. I'm going to show you what her personal soul mission is about as a part of that soul tribe, how she intends over the course of this entire lifetime to achieve that soul mission. And then that new piece that I haven't done, that is the extension of what we shared in Clearwater related to the divine plan, to kind of give you a sneak peek into what next season is going to be about. And of course, to do that, I look at the cosmic Sofia as divine wisdom, and I look at the cosmic Christ as divine will. So adding a couple of new luminary bodies to the mix beyond Pluto as the soul and the North Node as the evolutionary GPS. So let's step forward and see what we've got to work with here. Let me just move this up here so I can see everything clearly. Okay, so this is really incredible. This is the solar return chart that Denise is getting ready to complete in just a few days, as I said. And in purple here are the luminary bodies and the aspects related to her natal Pluto. This glyph here, the little P with the tail, is Pluto. And you see that it's here in the sign of Virgo, which tells us that her soul tribe, like mine, like Lewis's, like Gina's, like Winifred's, is all in this Virgo soul tribe. This is something that's really super unique about Denise in terms of the soul that she is, the extension of the absolute creator, God, goddess, that has incarnated into this body to be here at this time. We see that right next to Pluto, she has the cosmic Christ and the cosmic Sophia. And so her soul is very aligned with the mission of bringing this divine wisdom back onto the planet around the Christ consciousness, the Sophia consciousness. And of course, with that cosmic Christ as divine will, constantly inspiring her, every step that she takes is guided not through the egoic self, the personality self in terms of Denise, but really by the Christ consciousness above and the Christ consciousness within, because we see here that this aspect is what we call a T square. This is the top of the T. This is the stem of the T. And right here, making a square to this top of the T is Yeshua, the embodiment of Christ. And so she is constantly being guided through the highest spiritual truths. That's this Sagittarius energy here, constantly being inspired in all aspects of her life, every kind of relationship that she comes into connection with, being inspired through this divine will of the Christ within her, moving her forward. And you'll see that right next to Yeshua is the goddess Sekhmet. And so in these relationships, the goddess Sekhmet is the goddess of divine mercy, divine grace. And so this is really important because as a very high vibrational soul that is here on the planet, And we know that also not only because of her soul's alignment with the cosmic Christ and the cosmic Sophia, but also because of her soul's alignment with Uranus, the radical liberator, the revolutionary that's here to expand the collective consciousness of humanity. And so coming into people of all steps, all places in life, people that, you know, the term that is being used today, maybe not be so as awake and aware. And so this goddess Sekhmet energy moves through her for her to be able to hold that space of compassion and mercy, to allow them to be where they are without judgment, and to meet them where they are without judgment. And so this piece up here, this shamanic medicine, the cosmic shaman, Chiron, helps her to do this, because this cosmic shaman in Pisces, again, Pisces is about unified consciousness, divine love, compassion, and mercy. We see this a lot with the bodhisattvas that have come back onto the planet, that have completed their evolutionary journey, have stepped off that karmic wheel, and have come back out of deep compassion for humanity. And so she's able to work with anybody, be in relationship with anybody, wherever they are in their evolutionary expansion, and allow her presence, the presence of the Sophia Christ consciousness within her, to awaken them just by being in relationship with them. So, you know, pitch in here, Bliss. How is this relating to how you know yourself to be in terms of the soul that you are embodying in this beautiful sacred vessel?
I think for me, I'm really coming into the awareness of all of this. This is all somewhat new. I think it's something I've always known, but as we are beginning to transcend, and the light codes and downloads and everything coming in, and knowing where I'm from, what I bring to the table, starting to learn that in the past couple of years since COVID and everything, really delving into things, it's very interesting. Sometimes I have to pinch myself. Some of the things I've done, like the New Jerusalem activation in Dallas, on October 17th, we were there, and we cleared a man-made portal, and we opened up a new portal to the New Jerusalem. And I've done some other earth healing, the Mayan ruins in Mexico. Also, I connected a ley line and between Mount Shasta and Mount Rushmore last year, green crystal emerald, to get the divine feminine flowing through our ley line and Earth's core again. And I just, it's just amazing. It's more than I can even fathom when I really think about it. And I don't even know how to explain it, but the more I learn and the more I come into it, the easier it's been for me, to accept it. And it's coming more and more and faster now. And it's just, I felt for years that it was time for me to take a stand and stand up and speak out. And the Truth Tour has allowed me to make contacts and connections and, definitely grow on that. And then these other, it's unbelievable, but I know I'm here to be of service, and I'm open to whatever is to come. I know that I'm an activator. If I'm around a star seed and they haven't been activated yet, I look into their eyes and the activations begin. So the magic that I bring to this world, I still doubt, and I'm very humbled by it. And I'm I'm speaking of it now because of what we're talking about, but it's not my general conversation because, most people would think I'm crazy, some of the things I'm saying, but we're moving into that new world, that new earth, where all of this is going to be prevalent and so easily seen and understood once we break away from the veils that have blinded us and kept us from all of this. And I am glad and happy and more than willing to be on the front lines of this. I was sent here for this, and I'm ready to make a difference and help people and be of service to them because we are coming into a huge, huge change. The ascension, the letting go, all of it is more than most people can even begin to fathom what's happening. So I am so grateful and so thankful to be here, to be such a huge part of this, bigger than I can even imagine, I think. But for all of us that you have mentioned today, and we've been around recently, the frequencies, the vibrations, the energy, the coincidences, the sightings, the scenes, the shout outs, just all of it, you can't help but believe. You
Right.
have to. It's in our face constantly to believe what we're seeing and what's happening. So I'm open to learn and take in as much as I can about this. And this is all very fascinating hearing this because I kind of feel like I might know some of it, but this is just total confirmation of it. So thank you.
Right. Well, and so let's go back to the piece about the truth and your service to the truth, because what we see here in this T square is that your natal Chiron is in this 11th house, the 11th house that is ruled by this planet Uranus. And so there is a very definite focus for your soul to liberate the collective consciousness of humanity and to have an influence on that global stage for humanity. And of course, how is that going to be done? It's back here to these Sagittarius energies, truth, the highest spiritual truth that can come through, this highest spiritual truth that is aligned with the truth of the Sophia Christ consciousness that your soul is aligned with coming through. And so however you do it, and this Piscean energy as the unified source field, this Virgo energy as that sacred space where you can be in service to others, this as above, so below, as within, so without of the mystery schools through which we connected, allows you to see, with this earth element of Virgo, a lot of the service that you're doing is for the planet, because as you do it for the planet, it helps to wake up humanity. Because look here, as close as these luminary bodies are, Osiris, the cosmic Christ, is the only luminary body of these four that is in your fourth house. The other three luminary bodies are in the fifth house. So what this means is that the cosmic Christ is coming through you and grounding you onto this planet. And it's created this very intimate connection between you and the planet, where the planet and your connection to the planet is that safe space for you to be able to walk on this planet. And by having that connection with the earth and doing that work with the earth in these very creative ways, the fifth house is all about what is created through you. And so we've got the Sophia consciousness creating liberation for humanity through you by the work that you continue to ground into the earth. This is amazing, isn't it?
Very amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's what your soul mission is about as a part of this Virgo tribe. Anybody in the Virgo tribe is going to say, I'm here to be of service, because that's the overarching theme of the Virgo soul tribe. This is your specific mission as a soul. And so now we want to look at how you're intending to do that. And what we see here is the North Node, which is our evolutionary GPS that tells us how you're going to do that, is over here in your natal 12th house in the sign of Gemini. And it's standing right across the sky from the planet Mercury. Mercury, who is the ruler of Gemini, and Mercury is in the sign of Sagittarius. So the way that you're intending to do this is through communicating truth. Every person that you come into relationship with on a day-to-day basis, step by step, breath by breath, because notice that your natal Mercury here is in the 6th house, that you're communicating truth to. And it doesn't have to be verbal communication. Remember, probably 80 to 90% of all communication is nonverbal. And so, with this air element, we're talking frequencies here. With this fire element, we're talking about that Kundalini Shakti that's moving through you, the presence of that communicating through you to, here this is in the 12th house, all of the ways in which these people are being shackled through false beliefs, through belief systems that they've inherited through their ancestral lineage, the false beliefs that have been indoctrinated on them through the mind control programs of the patriarchal systems, through religion, through academia, through the psyops, all of that false programming that has caused people to shackle themselves. You are in constant communication, and the truth of who you are as an embodiment of this Sophia Christ consciousness sends the arrow right into them and starts to dissolve, to burn away all of that false programming so that they can be freed from the enslavement that false programming, those false belief systems, the mind control, the psyops have created within them. So this is why being a part of the Truth Tour was such a critical calling for you. And I know, because we're very close friends, that for probably at least 2 years, even before joining Lewis on the Truth Tour, you kept telling me, I've got to join one of these tours. I've got to get out there and get around the country and start meeting these people and working with these people. And then the whole way that the Lewis Herms Truth Tour thing unfolded was miraculous. It was divine timing. And I know because I was there and witnessed it.
Exactly. It was one of the most exciting times and overwhelming in so many ways. Just the camaraderie, the love, the power, the high frequency vibration, just the energy of us and all that was. There was a little bit of negativity, but the negativity you don't even think about at the end of the day because it was so little. And the message and the raising money for the kids of the sex trafficking and all of that's just so so heartwarming and heartfelt to see everybody come together and people start waking up to see what's really happening with these children. And we think we're winning this fight, but these kids are still suffering every day. And that's what this is about for almost every one of us that was out there on this tour. It's about the children. And I heard Lewis say last night that he's going to continue on and he wants to fight the fight for the kids, get in the fight for the kids. And I'm so ready to see what he's going to bring to the table with that, because we definitely need more of that. There's a lot of influencers out there that said they were all about the children and that's what started them, but they didn't step up. We didn't see them helping with this. So the ones that are true and the ones that know the truth are the ones that are coming out and the ones that are being a part of this. And it's magical.
Right.
And it's, the tears flowed multiple times a day, just like they're flowing for me right now, to see the men cry and the men to be open arm and loving and humbled and willing to do this. To see more men stepping out on this journey is just magical, and that's what we need to continue to see. And we shouted out at a lot of our events about more men need to step up, and I tell you, it was great to see the number of men there that were there this time around. And the ones that were pulled there and it changed their lives. Their wife made them come, or their significant other made them come. And so, yeah, it was just, it's all magical. It's all beyond. I'm ready to see the next thing happen. I think we all are. So, and, again, every consciousness that comes to is another big part of the plan coming together and the closure of all this evil. So, I'm ready, and I think we all are. And I'm ready to hear the rest of this.
Yeah. Well, so let me just take a quick minute and speak to what you brought forward about the children and about the men, because this is very much encoded in your soul mission and in how you intend to accomplish your soul mission in what I call mundane astrology. The fifth house is known as the house of our children, because while I refer to the fifth house as that which you birth through you, what you create through you, the most fundamental thing that humans birth and create is our children. And so look at all of this star power here. Liberating the children is encoded into this soul mission, into this T square, bringing in this medicine here from the unified source field of this compassion to be able to reach out and help liberate these children. And then how you're intending to do this. Look here, I didn't include it because I was looking specifically at this direct opposition between your north node and Mercury, but very close to your north node is Arthur. You'll see here that your north node is at almost 5 degrees. Arthur is at 27 degrees. So we're talking, within a 7-degree orb. It's close enough to be very influential. Arthur here is in a retrograde motion, so that inner world of yours. So Arthur represents the wise and compassionate leader, the embodiment of the sacred masculine that we haven't seen on this planet in at least 2,000 years. The last person that we know of collectively that would have walked on this planet as an embodiment of the wise and compassionate leader was Yeshua himself. But through patriarchy, we don't have any role models within our families, within our communities, or even on the global stage of men who are allowing that sacred masculine energy to flow through them and show up as that wise and compassionate leader. And of course, we know we all have the inner feminine and the inner masculine. And so part of your soul mission and how you're creating that is to speak to the wise and compassionate leader within all people, that sacred masculine aspect of them, to step forward. And it's because of your presence and because of your relationship with those men at those events that they were catalyzed to have that part of themselves step forward. And it's a catharsis. That's why the tears were coming, because it was a catharsis for them to allow that part of themselves to be present and to be seen, to be witnessed, to be activated.
Yeah. 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 I feel that 100%, like the energy around it is so strong. So yeah.
So now that we know what your soul mission is and how you intend to do your soul mission, let's take a quick peek over this past year in terms of how the divine plan was desiring to show up through you. And as I said on the previous slide, we look at the cosmic Sophia as divine wisdom. We look at the cosmic Christ as divine will. And what's fascinating here is that over this past year, the cosmic Sophia, and notice that she's retrograde as well as the cosmic Christ. Again, this frequency that is within you, that is moving through you, showing up, unfolding through you. This cosmic Sophia is the apex of what we call a yod. A yod is an astrological aspect that is known as the finger of the god. I call it the finger of the goddess. It is an aspect that many people relate to as il destino. This is a fated unfoldment, a fated manifestation that no matter what, come hell or high water, this is going to happen. And so we see here that the cosmic Sophia in your solar return chart is in, again, this house of relationship. Think of all of the relationships that you have come into contact with, that you have made over the course of this past year by doing both of these tours. And so we've got Pluto here in Capricorn as one anchor of the base. We've got Sekhmet. Remember, I talked about Sekhmet here, the goddess of divine mercy and compassion. And so your personal sovereignty, your ability to stand in your sovereignty as a way shower, as a intangible resource for you, blending with that energy of divine compassion and mercy for all of the ways in which people are being shackled, thrusting their energies up here to the cosmic Sophia, so that as you come into relationship with people over the course of this year, the divine wisdom of Sophia can help them become freed from those places where they're shackled, so that they themselves can start to reclaim their sovereignty. That's huge in terms of how Sophia's divine wisdom was working this piece of the divine plan through you. And now we have the cosmic Christ up here in that fifth house. What it is that you're creating. Again, what's being birthed through you. And notice that he is standing across the sky from Mars, the sacred masculine in your solar 11th house. This goes back to what I said over here about Arthur. The Christ consciousness is birthing through you this new emergence of the sacred masculine. Because patriarchy is not sacred masculine. It's the sacred masculine that's been perverted. And we can see through all of the stuff that you've been talking about in terms of the child trafficking, the sex trafficking, all of that is a result of a manifestation of patriarchy, which has taken the masculine energy and perverted it. And what you've been doing this past year, your piece of the divine plan, is that you are birthing that sacred masculine energy back onto the planet and into the collective consciousness of humanity. And by that piece of the divine plan working through you this year, this is how those men were able to be catalyzed for that part of themselves, that authentic piece of themselves to show up.
Interesting. Yeah, it's been an interesting ride the past year and a half since I started this journey, and where it's leading me and where it's taken me, and the turns and the twists, and sitting back and meeting all these different influencers and different people and looking into their eyes and seeing them or activating them or healing them, whatever it is that we may have done by looking into their eyes, or I may have done by looking into their eyes, is just such a connection, especially after what we've been through with COVID and lockdowns and not being around people. And, so yeah, it's been an incredible journey. And I'm so ready for the next, as we spoke yesterday when you did my reading, moving into this new earth sanctuary, the healing being there for what's getting ready to happen as all of the world crumbles around us, everything we've ever known. Yeah, I'm ready to take the reins and step into whatever it is that I'm guided to do next, and be of service and continue to help others heal, because there is a history. All people know me really as the truth tour manager. They really don't know any of my background or what I bring to the table. So with that being said, real quick, I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, life coach, NLP practitioner, certified firewalk instructor, Reiki master, Soma Pai healing, healed by spirit, energy healing. And I also do some shamanic work. And I'm looking to move more into the shamanic healing work and all this winter, and using that as a basis. It's always been a pull for me to work with battered children and kids. And I'm not so sure it was battered children and kids as much as it is these injured children from all of this sex trafficking and all. But whatever it is, I know I'll find the divine place and do the divine healing that needs to be done for everyone that's called to me. So that's what I'm anxious and excited to move into. And, I do work with clients and all now. A lot of people don't realize that, because again, I've been so enthroned into the truther movement right now and getting the word out there. But ultimately I am a healer, and that's the work I really want to be helping people with, because enough people are waking up now to the truth, and it's getting ready to slap the ones in the face that aren't awake, and those are the ones that are going to need the help the most. So that's what we're going to be here for.
Right. I can absolutely see you playing a pivotal role for those that are really, I would even say, traumatized by what's getting ready to be revealed to them, because it's going to be a paradigm shift that their mental capacity is not going to be easily able to integrate, and it will be very traumatizing. So I can definitely see you playing a role there. So that was a perfect segue into, okay, this new pathway that you're getting ready to step onto in just a few days. And this is really super huge. So what I didn't mention in the previous slide is that in your natal chart, you've got the Magdalene here, right? The embodiment of Sofia consciousness. We talked about the square to the Yeshua here that creates those breakthroughs in consciousness for you, especially related to truth with the embodiment of Christ. Now we see here that who has been supporting you through all of this is your inner Sophia. So as you go into ceremony, the Sophia who is creating the sacred space for that ceremony, whatever it may be, each event, as I said, was like stepping onto holy ground. It was a ceremonial space, and the Sophia consciousness, the Sophia within you, holding that ceremonial space so that these breakthroughs in consciousness by your inner Christ, the Christ moving through you, could happen. And so what's happening this year is that, isn't it interesting? Uranus here in the sky in your solar return chart is setting up what we call a grand Earth trine by its placement and relationship to where your soul mission is and where this Magdalene is, this creating for you a stable foundation for you to move forward from as you walk on this planet and do work with this planet. And we see here that your solar north node is closely connected to this. And so this grand Earth trine is the foundational piece that's been set up for you by your soul in order for you to be able to have this stabilizing effect for how the divine plan is going to move through you and unfold through you this year. So this is a huge piece that's necessary to facilitate this divine plan moving through you. And notice that they are in your second solar house. So the effects, the stabilizing effects of this grand Earth trine is going to be a huge, what we would call intangible resource for you to be able to call upon as you're working with the divine plan, as the divine plan is working through you. And of course, it will be very liberating, not only for you personally, but for, again, everybody that you come into relationship with. Because look down here. You've got your solar cosmic Sophia and your solar cosmic Christ in the seventh solar house, the house of relationship. And so last year, let me just go forward here, go back again to remind you, you had this yod with the apex here with your cosmic Sophia. This year, you once again have a yod. The work that's going to be happening, the divine plan that is unfolding through you is going to manifest come hell or high water. It cannot be stopped. This is like the legions of, Christ moving through you. And the base point of this yod is the cosmic Sophia and the cosmic Christ. And then over here, you've got that Mercury energy, the sun energy, fueling it. You've got the Venus energy, sacred masculine, sacred feminine, Sophia, Christ as manifestations of sacred masculine, sacred feminine, the sun and Asmodeus, who goes into all of the places to find even the subtlest frequency of separation consciousness to bring that light and that love, which is the manifestation of the sacred partnership between Christ and Sophia. And all of that is flowing together and it's thrusting up here. And so what do we have here? We have the divine mother aspect of Sophia. We've got that Arthur, your solar Arthur. What did we say about Arthur? The wise and compassionate leader. And we've got the cosmic shaman. All of this here in the sign of Aries and in your solar first house. So let's see what that's going to be all about. You are going to come to know yourself as an embodiment of that divine love frequency. all humans are embodiments of divine love because we all are divine. We all carry the Christ in the Sophia within us. And as I said, the manifestation of their sacred union is that divine love frequency. But humans have forgotten. They've been shut down. They can't even feel it within themselves. But through the love of the Divine Mother aspect, you're going to be able to reconnect with that divine love frequency within you. You're going to be able to feel it and know it and feel the inspiration of it moving through you. And it's going to be one of the greatest pieces of shamanic medicine that you're going to be able to put into your medicine bag as you move forward in terms of helping people to heal. Because how do people heal? Through love. They have to reconnect with the love that they are. They have to feel it. They have to know it. And this wise and compassionate leader aspect of the sacred masculine, along with the divine mother aspect of Sophia, is going to facilitate their capacity to reconnect with it and know it for themselves. I mean, this is freaking huge. I mean, it'll be exciting to see how, this unfolds through you, what it shows up as, we go from this November to next November. But this is what I would say, especially with Aries as a fire sign, this is the guiding light. This is where you need to keep that laser focus. How is love showing up through me here? And then we want to talk about the cosmic Christ and what's happening with him. And so we know he's at a base point in this yod, but what we see is that he is also trining this North Node and Uranus piece here. And so what that means is that the cosmic Christ above, and we know also within, is fully supporting you in terms of allowing the divine plan to unfold through you. Yes. And what we see here, and this is the intimacy of how these frequencies are blending together, is that this piece here that is being supported by the cosmic Christ, which is also a part of this grand earth trine that's giving you that stabilizing effect as you allow this plan to move through you and unfold, is also standing across the sky from this point on the base of the apex. It's all very interwoven. And so, look at how all of this is in your solar 8th house. So this is going to be a time where not only are you going to become more empowered and liberated through your own power and knowing yourself as this embodiment of divine love, but how the healing work that happens as a result of this divine love frequency that's pouring through you is going to empower those that are being healed, that are in relationship with you as that healing is unfolding.
Pretty powerful.
Pretty powerful, absolutely. And so, let's get back to this whole discussion about the New Earth project that you've been talking about being called to do. Let me remind you, you've got this grand Earth trine. No doubt, however that New Earth project decides to go up, it will be on the foundations of this grand Earth trine. And let's look here at this point and this point, also in Earth elements, in service to Taurus is the Earth, the planet. It is our embodiment of the Sophia Christ consciousness in service to the planet. So I have no doubt that, again, however that New Earth project gets off the ground and starts to unfold through you, that this is exactly why you're being called to do that work over the next year.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it's only recently in the past 3 to 4 days that it's even came to my awareness that there is new earth work for me to do and explore. So I'm very excited to learn more about that. And since I've come home, I was told I was going to go dark and that I would more or less, just cocoon. And boy, have I been. Like, this is probably the most human interaction that I've really had. I still am very leery of reaching out to people and just, I think, a lot of it is the transition from coming off the energy of the tour, not being around like-minded people. I mean, that's my family, that's my tribe, that's my people, so when you come, and I mean, of course, my daughter's my people too, but just the energy as you felt being there, it's hard to describe, but I know there's more and more of that coming. And we're calling in more of our tribe and more of our people, and more are going to be awakening and becoming aware of their bits of pieces and all of this. As I was watching a YouTube video last night, I even, and this morning finished it up, got even more awareness around some of this and what's to come. So very exciting. I know some of my time will probably be in the States and some of it out of the States. I have a calling to a certain area, as we've spoke of, and we'll see how that all turns out. I think that within a month or so, I'll be headed that way for a couple months. So
Right.
yeah, it's very exciting. I'm wide open. I wish I knew it all right now, but I know we're in a holding pattern and we're not meant to know it all. I have seen glimpses. I have been given visions. I have seen all the evil and all the good that comes from it through Bufo sessions. So I know that the end is good, and in the end God wins and light and love wins. So it's just holding through to that and getting to the other side, and we're so close now.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. And so let me just speak to what you said about only within the past 3 or 4 days having this awareness about this New Earth project coming into your field. And that is because you are in this liminal space where you are completing this evolutionary path, which has been activated all year long. So you're, as a soul being, you now have accomplished a calibration to this leading edge part of yourself that is trying to integrate with your physical body, thus the need to cocoon, so that that calibrated leading edge self can now step forward and start to walk this path, new path, which will again, day by day, week by week, month by month, depending on what's happening in the sky, be catalyzing you and activating you in new ways, so that by the end of this year, you will be fully aligned with this new version of your leading edge self. So this is a really unique window for you, which was why I felt it was a really good opportunity to kind of show this transition from one path to the other in terms of how the divine plan is moving through you. And I'm excited to see what starts to unfold over the next year.
Me too, me too. You know, what popped in as you were saying that is, I feel like I've hesitated or dragged my feet more or less on moving forward with starting my own channel and healing network and, you know, New Earth project. But I realized that it's all in divine timing, and this, you showcasing me and bringing this out, is also all the work I've done in the tour. It's all part of bringing, hanging my sign and people will come, I guess. Yes. Is what I'm attempting to say, getting it out there that I am here to be of service and to help others at a much grander, larger scale than I have been. My life has been very convoluted, and I've been very confused for years as to where I was headed and what I was doing, when everything was cleared out of my life in late 2017. And now 5, almost 6 years later, I'm finally seeing the plan. You learn patience, that's for sure. But the future looks bright, and you know, I live in the now and I stay in the now most of the time, but seeing what's to come is amazing. And being a part of this, being a part and being alive right now is so exciting. I mean, this is history in the making. This is the largest amount of history we've ever had. This is beyond what anybody can even begin to fathom. And we are alive. We are fighting the fight, and we are doing this right now, right here. And that's fucking amazing to be able to tell our grandkids or whoever along the way in the history books down the road, if there is such a thing, because I believe education is indoctrination. We have all we need to know right in our own, you know, our own means to bring it in and have all the knowledge we need from the ether. So I don't believe in school or any of those things, but until, you know, humanity catches up with us, we are where we are. So it's very refreshing to see more and more people coming and knowing and expanding and seeing what's happening and seeing the ascension process and the moving out of 3D. That is the one thing about the tour that was the hardest for me, is being pulled back into the 3D. But I know that was my soul's mission, and that's what I was supposed to do. And I'll stay in the 3D as long as I need to make a difference there. You know, that's what I'm here for. So, but it's great to see the people starting to transcend and move on to higher frequencies and higher realms and higher knowing what our government has kept from us and these evil ones have kept from us for so many years is now becoming prevalent, and awareness is being drawn to it. So, you know, it's a wonderful thing. I can't wait to see how all this evolves and continue to play a huge role in it, or even a small role in it makes a difference.
Right. You know, and it's interesting as you're saying that, and I'm taking in everything that you're sharing. And so now I'm seeing something for the first time, as much as I've looked at your chart over the past several days. Now I'm seeing something new for the first time. And it's this Magdalene, this solar Magdalene at almost 7 degrees, trining to your solar Isis at almost 7 degrees, 2 minutes apart. 2 minutes apart. So we've got the cosmic Sofia, the embodiment of Sofia, trining each other from the 7th house of relationships to the 11th house of being on that world stage, helping the liberation of humanity, helping humanity in terms of consciousness take back their sovereignty. And so huge things are going to be unfolding through you in service to humanity. over the course of this year. And it's all a direct result of how the cosmic Christ as divine will and the cosmic Sophia as divine wisdom are moving through you, and how your embodiment of their frequencies are inspiring and creating through you. It's going to be phenomenal. And so, talking about this 11th house, you know, I know you've been talking about having some kind of a podcast or a radio show for several years, but I think this is the year that it's going to finally unfold through you, because having a way to reach the global community through these Aquarian frequencies of the 11th house is very much aligned with having a radio show or a podcast and being able to speak that truth of divine wisdom to humanity. So this could be the year that absolutely shows up through you.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, a kind of wonky grand trine. It's really bizarre because this is at 7 degrees. This is at, 13 to 17, 4. So you've got like a grand trine in your natal chart and kind of a wonky kind of a grand trine in your solar chart. So you've got a lot of stabilizing support to really manifest something significant, not only for yourself and your own empowerment and liberation, but mostly because of the service that's going to be showing up through you to the liberation and empowerment of humanity.
Nice, very nice. And as you sit here saying that, it's like I still wonder what it is that I have the world wants to hear, but I'm sure all in divine timing, because that's, as I keep hearing, you're a trailblazer, you're a leader, you're, all these things. I'm like, okay, and what am I supposed to do with this? Where am I headed? Where am I going? And again, being in a holding pattern and waiting for divine guidance has, played on my patience a little, but I know that we can't do things too fast, that the narrative has to go a certain way, or we could end up in a lot of trouble in civil war, which we could be looking at anyway if this election isn't stopped. How can you move forward when you haven't fixed 2020? But anyway, we know this, and yeah, I'm just waiting and ready, and I will be starting to come out with the Grassroots Warrior channel here very soon. I am starting to sit on a couple other round tables and stuff like that, and I was supposed to speak on the tour. I was supposed to speak at quite a few of the stops, and it just didn't happen. We had a lot of speakers that went from stop to stop with us. There's a lot between getting the show on the road, keeping the show going, balancing the energies. Not only am I, behind the scenes making everything happen along with Gina and Lewis and Doug and the rest of us. There was a beautiful, wonderful group of humans that helped with this. And everybody plays a huge, tremendous part in it. But I'm also in the back balancing energy, sending healings, watching the galactic battles above us. It was hard for me to find time or even focus on being able to speak. And one of the things Lewis and I had chatted about when I came on board in May was to be able to get out and make my own channel and do that. Well, now I have a 3-month break or so. So we're going to use that to our advantage. And when the Truth Tour comes back next time, I will be speaking on it. I will not be sitting just in the background. We're going to make that happen somehow, some way. Because again, I don't know what I have to say, but when I stand up to speak, it just flows. So, the couple times I did speak, I prepared something and didn't even follow it. I just let the divine guidance guide me. So, and I think that's where a lot of us are right now in these influencer channels and everything. And I have a couple people when we're off camera that I would love to share with you that I think would be great when you start the series again next year that you should showcase. And definitely pull into this realm you're doing here. I met some tremendous, tremendous people along the way here, and the energy and the strength. And I'd love to see what they have behind them, bringing
Sure.
them into all of this.
Sure,
So,
absolutely. So what a beautiful segue to my next slide.
I must know, huh?
Yep, you do. So as I mentioned at the beginning, this is the final episode of this season, season 2. I did 5 episodes in season 1 last year, completing with 5 episodes this season. Season 3 will premiere in the summer of 2023. So you can find all of these past episodes on my YouTube channel, the Roseville Mystery School, and they are under the playlist Spotlight on Influencers. And so what a powerful and potent way to complete this season with Denise's incredible presence here today. And as we know, with the divine plan, everything happens in divine timing. So if you would like to send me a recommendation for somebody that you'd like me to do an episode on next season, you can do that through my contact page. When you send me your recommendation for that person, it's really helpful if you're able to provide this birth information that I require in order to really get into the juicy stuff on their chart. And also, sharing these episodes with your friends, family, and social networks. You can find me on Rumble, Telegram, and of course, my YouTube channel where all of this is housed, the Roseville Mystery School. And naturally, when you watch these videos, if you can give them a thumbs up, if you can subscribe to the channel, that certainly helps all of us. And so I'd just like to take this opportunity to let Denise have a final, comment on what we discovered and shared today, and to let everybody know how they can reach out to her. And I will include all of that information in the description box below this video. So Denise, any final words?
Well, I guess I should. I know you're going to include this at the end, but I can be found on Telegram at Grassroots Warrior. The link is actually Grassroots Rebel, because before I did the numerology on it, I had named the channel that, but Grassroots Warrior is better for me. So numerology wise, so that's what I'm using. So, and I'm also can be emailed at grassrootswarrior17 at proton.me if anybody would like any further information. And I'm also available at Denise at truthtour.net still. But if it's about personal work, let's bring that over to Grassroots Warrior. If it's about Truth Tour, then you know where to find me. So anyway, I so appreciate you today and spotlighting me. I do not feel that I deserve this, but ultimately, I guess the signs show that I do. So thank you. I'm so gracious and blessed to have you done this for me. And I look forward to what's to come and seeing who you spotlight next time, and just seeing what the world has to offer here in the very near future for all of us.
Yes, absolutely. And so, when I started this series last year, it was about looking at the influencers and seeing what they were doing to uplift humanity, because there was so much negativity being broadcast through the influencers' channels. And I wanted to kind of shift the focus and the frequency. And so we can certainly see through everything we've discussed today how you are a lady on a mission to uplift humanity.
Yep.
So it's been a huge honor to have you here today, and I greatly appreciate your spending this time with us.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll see everybody next summer.